Hey, help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button to subscribe if you want more Cavs-focused content.
The Cavs have been on such a good season that I feel like we're at the point to where we started the season and we were like, oh my goodness, like it's amazing. We don't even know how to appreciate it, right? And now, we're at the point to where some Cavs fans are like, I thought they have more than 58 wins by now, right? Like we're truly running the arc of opinions when it comes to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They have, if you think about coming into the season, 55 wins was seen as like it would be an overwhelming success.
Yep.
58 is, like the 2016 Cavs won 57. Right? Like the championship Cavs team, all the Lenny Wilkins, Mark Price teams that were legendary in this city for decades, those won 57 games. This Cavs team has already surpassed that. They're only behind two LeBron teams, and those are the two more ridiculous years of LeBron's youth, right, where he was just able to carry a team to an incredible level. But the Cavs have played so well this season that expectations have shifted so much that we don't really know where they're at. Like, we did not come into the season thinking it would be like, hey, we got a chance to win a championship this year. No, they would have called me delusional if I would have popped on here and been like, yeah, we Cats can win a championship this year. Like, oh, Q's drinking the Kool-Aid, right? But now it's March. And it's not like we're like, we hope we can get to the Eastern Conference Finals or we hope we get to. I think there's a legitimate expectation that like we should have a chance to win an NBA championship this year. Where do you feel it? Like, how does the whiplash of where the Cavs have been in the last 365 days, how has that affected you and how you view what you want out this season?
Yeah, I feel like in sports, expectations are the thief of joy. Like, as soon as you start expecting things out of your team, it's like we're kind of getting the energy of like Chiefs fans or like the Patriots for many years, where like any other fan base is looking at them like, how are you not happy? Like, how is this not enough? But when you're in that position and you want to, get to that next level, win that championship, it's hard to be happy with, losing when the expectation is to continue winning. So I understand why people get frustrated in these moments of loss. But I feel like, when I look at these last few weeks here where they've started to stumble a little bit, and I don't get super concerned about it for a number of reasons. One, I think like it's a long season. They're probably a little bit tired too. They've had this long West Coast trip where they're playing in West Coast time zone. For us, it was, 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. start times, Eastern time every single night, which I think, probably weighs on them after a while. I think keeping up with the win streaks that they've had to be exhausting after a while too, when you're just like, all right, we got to give it our all again tonight because we don't want to let this win streak go. And they had to do that like 3-4 times throughout the season where it was like, all right, we're doing this again.
It's one thing, too, when you become the team with the win streak, right, that everybody wants to bust.
Yep. Yeah, no, that definitely, like, it's pressure every night because everyone's giving you their best go at it. I think Mobley was out a little bit there, which I think we're starting to realize, which we've been knowing this, that Mobley is a very important player on this team. But I'm glad everyone else is realizing it now that, hey, that guy, when he's on the court, very different basketball team. I don't know what the current stat is, but I saw this a few weeks ago that without Mobley in the last 20 games that the Cavs played without Mobley, 10-10, okay? Very different basketball team when Evan Mobley is not out on that court. And I think, that has to be taken into consideration. That is probably going to be the defensive player of the year unless they, for some reason, decide to give it to Draymond Green, but should be the defensive player of the year this season. I think also Kenny has been experimenting with some different lineups, right? Which is what you do in these moments leading up to the playoffs. Like, hey, let's see if these guys work well together. Let's see how we can mess around with different things. So I'm just not putting too much pressure on what's been happening more recently. I get wanting to, feel concerned about that when we're this close to the playoffs, but I think there's reasons that can explain all of it, which doesn't make me as concerned.
And I think the Cavs have never been in this position before. So it's hard for people to view them like this. But
Right.
this is not a young team, right? Like, this is a team that all their core players are on their second to third contracts, right? Like, Donovan Mitchell's on contract number 3, Evan Mobley's on contract number 2, Darius Garland's on contract number 2, Jared Allen's on contract. I think what contract he was undrafted or something like that, so he might be on contract like 5, like or something like that. Because I don't know if he had bird rights. Like, I have to double check that, but. These are guys who have been around, and no, they have not won a championship together. They have not been to an Eastern Conference Finals together, but they do stuff during the course of the year where I'm like, okay, that's a veteran team. They understand what they'll be fine week 1 at the playoffs, right? Like, because you'll see stuff, something as small as like those third quarter runs, like during the win streak, where they would play like pretty bad basketball for 2 quarters, and then like right at the end of the third, they're like, all right, let's go on a run, right? Like you see that with veteran teams where they just decide like, okay, let's stop playing. They did this against the Utah Jazz, right? Where Utah was like hanging around and they were like, hey guys, it's the Jazz. And then they turned it on for like 6 minutes. I think Austin Carr was like, that's all I want to see is just turn it on for 6 minutes, right? Like, you ain't got to do it all 4 quarters during the regular season. But they could turn it on for 6 minutes. They break Utah, cool. Did the same thing with the Portland Trailblazers on the road last game where it's like, hey, this game's close. They're within 4. Don't want to give them life. And then 10-point run. Okay, cool. We're good. That is why I think a lot of people are in a headspace where they're thinking of the Cavs as this inexperienced team that doesn't know what time it is. And I'm like, no, this is a team that knows what it's like to be embarrassed in the first round. I promise you, they're not going to take the first round lightly, no matter what happens, because they have, like, I think the biggest playoff experience you need to know what it feels like to be embarrassed. Because then you all of a sudden, you understand when you need to make these plays, right? And I think the Cavs have understood, hey, it's in the third quarter. This is a big bucket. We need to get this big bucket. And you'll see them get like a double, like the rebounding effort just goes way up for possession is because, they realize how important getting a bucket here is or pulling within 5 here is at this moment. And I'm like, that tells me a lot. And I'm like, that's a veteran basketball team. They understand what's ahead of them. I wouldn't freak out because they lost a couple of games because like Kawhi got hot and they let KD get to his spot on the West Coast.
Right. And almost all of these, at least the important players on this team, the core 4, a couple of the other role players were a part of that Knicks series loss. They were a part of the Boston series loss last year. So they have, I do think we get the reputation of being this young team, and they're still like, they're not an old team by any means, but they've been through some things together, which I definitely think is meaningful. As frustrating as that Knicks series was when it happens, in some ways it's like the best thing that can happen to you because I feel like we've talked about this on here a number of times, like on how all of the good teams of the last decade, unless you had LeBron on your team, were, you had to go through years and years of adversity before you even got to the promised land of making it to the finals. Like, I think, LeBron warped people's expectations of how easy it is to just get to the finals when you have a good team. Like, yeah, he did that every year. That's because he's insane. Everyone else, you gotta lose a couple years in a row, build some things together and then make your way. I think the other thing from this streak that has been concerning people is specifically like the poor shooting. Like Donovan has had some really bad shooting games. But I feel like he is a guy that still can show up when it matters. And we've seen that over the last few years that, it could just be, I'm going through a bad streak right now, but I do want to believe that by the time it gets to playoffs and he's put in those moments, like I think, he will be able to rise to the occasion and hopefully be out of that.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see with Donovan, even if the shot's not dropping, the shot selection to be much better, right? Like we kind of saw this. I think you're seeing these players, and again, they're veteran players. I think it's the reverse Jason Tatum, right?
Yeah.
Jason Tatum has been a major figure in basketball in the Boston Celtics and Jaylen Brown since they've entered the league. So they feel so much older than they are.
So much,
right?
yeah.
They feel like ancient because they're like, we saw LeBron on the Cavs beat Jason Tatum, right? Like Joel Embiid in the 76ers used to battle. Like we've seen some like eras go through.
Yeah.
The Steph Curry beat Jason Tatum in the finals, right? Like, he feels old. The Cavs are the reverse of that. They just got on everybody's radar. So, like, Jared Allen don't feel old to people, right? Darius Garland feels super young to people. Yeah. But Darius Garland is very experienced. And I thought Darius did something very strategic against Portland where he was like, I'm going to try to get like 25 and I'm not going to take that many threes, right? Like he just worked on his interior game because he's like, okay, let me make sure that I got it going just in case my three's not dropping, you know, because in the regular season, shoot through it, right? Shoot 8 threes when they ain't dropping. You're Donovan Mitchell, you're Darius Garland. We ain't going to be mad about them threes. So they're going to do that. But in the playoffs, if Donovan Mitchell starts off missing his like first 3 threes, he's going to be very strategic about when that next 3 is, and he's going to start having a different mentality going into the hoop. He's not going to waste those possessions. So I think that's the big difference there and why, like, yeah, Donovan Mitchell's not shooting well. He's still capable of giving you 30. Right? Like if Darius Garland is not shooting well from 3, he's still capable of giving you 30. If Evan Mobley's not making threes, he's still capable of giving you 30. And more capable as every day goes. Did you see he's starting to do behind the back on transition and then dunking? Oh.
He's insane.
Every week I see something where I'm like, that's going to become regular. And that's when it's going to, like, I'm waiting for the day when Evan catches a body on the perimeter. Like he's going to drop somebody and smack a 3 and everybody's going to be like, oh, I'm like, I'm telling you, it's happening. It's going to happen. He's getting there. He's working on his dribble bag. Like it's going to.
What's crazy too is that like, I feel like he, in a lot of ways is starting to get the respect he deserves. Like obviously, you know, the defensive player of the year conversation, all of that stuff. But I still feel like on the offensive end, like unless you're watching Cavs games, you don't know how much better he is this year and how valuable that is for this team. Like the couple things you mentioned, it's crazy to see the difference and it's only getting better with time. Like I just feel like he's continuing to get more and more confident even as this season has gone on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because right now we're at the fun part of Evan Mobley becoming a superstar, which is like, oh, man, look at all the stuff he could do. And then eventually, unless he wins a championship super early, like if he wins a championship this year, he might be able to avoid it. But eventually we get to the point to where all people want to talk about is what the hell you can't do, right? And it's like we have fought this war, right? Where it's like everybody was like, he can't do it. And we're like, no, it's happening. Like, I promise you it's happening. It finally happens, right? And we probably got like a year, maybe 2 years of peace before it's but can he win a championship by himself? Right? Like, even if he does win the ring, they'll be like, well, Donovan Mitchell was the primary scorer when he won that ring. So can he be the best player on the champion? I can already hear the dumb Shaq take coming, right? Like I can, I need the big fella to get bigger, get more rebounds. Like I can already just hear the shenanigery happening, but he's well on his way to superstardom. And it's funny because 365 days ago, there were people who were telling me you should trade him and keep Jared Allen. And I'm not just saying people on Twitter. I'm saying Charles Barkley said this on national TV, right? Like that's where it was. So, yeah, it's been fascinating to see how much this team has evolved, how much the expectations for this team have evolved. What do you think is the best thing the Cavs can do between now and the start of the playoffs? I have my answer. I'm interested to see what yours is.
The best thing that they could do. I mean,
the best Cavs-related news or result that could happen for the rest of the season?
It's a tough question because like I kind of said at the beginning, am trying really hard to not get wrapped up in results of any of the games between now and playoffs because I just feel like I'm more interested in like the lineups that they're experimenting with. Like I would like for, some of the poor shooting to probably decline a little bit. And I think that'll at least get them in a better mental place, especially, Darius has had some tough shooting games. Donovan has like to get them in a more comfortable position so that you're not walking into the playoffs off of like a bad streak of shooting. I feel like for me, that's kind of where they need to be at. But yeah, for results, I'm like I don't even want to like see wins and losses for the next 2 weeks or whatever it is left.
I will say when they started the West Coast trip, I remember being at a place where I'm like, I've seen what I need to see out of them. I've seen what I need to see out of the Cavs. They're not going to change my mind in one way or the other out of this for the rest of the season. They just need to stay healthy.
Right.
The best news that could come across our timelines is huge Cavs Inc. extension with Ty Jerome for 2 years. That is, if that happens, that is the best result for the rest of this regular season is they could get Ty Jerome under some type of a contract extended for the next couple of years. Because look, I'm not even sweating the, hey man, they might try to rob Evan Mobley of Defensive Player of the Year for Draymond Green. We know that the Defensive Player of the Year award can be cooked at times. But if Evan don't get Defensive Player of the Year, it might make it easier to keep Ty. Right?
For sure. Which is, as much as I want Evan to win that is something to consider. Like, okay, for the long-term benefit of this team, it might be better if he doesn't win. But I'm still, I'm not going to want to take that from away from Evan.
By the way, I think we're seeing something that we're going to love and not benefit from at the same time from Evan, which is they started talking crazy about him defensively before that Portland game, and he got 4 blocks in the first half of that Portland game.
Yes.
He heard it, right? Like
with a response from Evan.
And that's the thing about Evan this year. He hasn't been confident enough to respond definitively in his game, offensively. Defensively, he just was never felt the need. But he's never. But now it's like, hey, Evan's gonna respond offensively and really try to like give you an answer on both ends of the floor. And I just don't think people have that. I've always said he's been undervalued defensively by Cavs fans because like people will say, well, he's not better than this guy, that guy. And I'm like, yeah, if you're just looking at offensive output, sure, but the defensive output is amazing for him. This Cavs team literally didn't go over 500 until they got Evan Mobley in the draft, right? Like, he is the catalyst of this whole thing. And, oh, man, we take a leap. Well, when do we take a leap? When Evan Mobley starts putting up 20 like it's nothing, right? Like, he's just, like, pretty much averaging 20 at this point. So
a double-double every night, no matter what. Like, a 20-point double-double nearly every night, no matter what.
We used to get excited about double-doubles. We don't even register a double-double anymore. Like,
it's just like, okay, him and Jared, it's almost expected for both of them at this point. Like, okay.
Yeah. I got mad at Jared. I'm like, man, he ain't got 15 rebounds in a while, right? Like, when he gonna step up and be Jared again, right? Like, I don't know who he is. Right now, he's just a very good starting center. I need him to be Jared Allen. But yeah, I think that's it. Because like I don't even want to see this Cavs team get super hot before the playoffs. Like I know what they're capable of. They can not be hot, shoot 33% from 3 in the first round and easily get by it. They need to have that 3-point shot going for the conference finals and the NBA. But I would honestly get nervous if they went on a crazy hot streak from 3 now, because I'm like, damn, man, it's a long time till late May to keep this up, right? Like, if you want to get hot late in that semifinal, then you play Boston and you're shooting 60 against Boston, and you're able to rebound effectively against them, I think you can beat them, right? Like, so that's where I'm at.
Does anyone outside of Boston right now in the East genuinely concern you in a 7-game series that you're like, ooh, they could really give the Cavs a run for their money?
No, nobody in the East.
Yeah.
Nobody in the East should get past 6 games with the Cavs.
For a while,
if they stay healthy.
I was a little bit concerned about the Bucks. Obviously, the Dame news as of recent is, hope everything is okay with him, but probably not going to be playing. The only reason I was a little concerned about them is because I get more nervous about the teams that have the
Mm.
stars that have been there, like a Giannis who could just like turn it on. You know, he has been there, he is comfortable there, he can take over games still. Having Dame there, I was, concerned about the combination of both of them experienced players, but teams like more the, Pistons, Magic, that realm, like I don't fear them in long series because I don't think they have the star power to really hang with the Cavs.
Yeah, even a healthy Bucks, because the Cavs have played the Bucks well the
Yeah.
last few years. Like I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that the Evan Mobley and there are bigs that get look. What's his name? Not Max Christie. For the Celtics, he was traded for the Lakers. It was this trade that Magic tried to belittle and act like it wasn't Zubac. There it is,
Oh,
Zubac. Yeah, like that dude gives the Cavs
yeah.
problems, right?
Yeah.
Like Jokic, Jokic doesn't put his back to the basket as much, but in the playoffs he will, right? So that's going to be a problem for the Cavs, but the Nuggets don't have any other bigs that can really play off of him, other than like Aaron Gordon, but I feel confident about our ability to handle that problem. But it's like nobody, like if Joel Embiid was on a good team, that would make me nervous because I'm like, we have nothing for a dude like Joel, right? Big center that can shoot, move. That guy's going to kill us. That's the Achilles heel of this team, right? Is that Jared Allen is not very big. He's just tall. And that has its limits. So, yeah, Joel's not on a team like that. Giannis is the type of big we can defend, right?
Yeah.
He's big, he's strong, but he likes to go downhill. Evan Mobley can handle that. If you don't want Evan to get in foul trouble, Jared's fine at it too. Right. And even DeAndre Hunter can get in there. Dean Wade, like you have the long players to throw at Giannis that I wouldn't be worried. And we got like a ton of guys who can guard Dame, and still put up, like I could trust Ty Jerome out there to guard Dame at this point.
Right.
So even that matchup, the only thing that would concern me if it's Joel's like, if Joel Embiid was on, who's a good team? Like the Magic.
Right.
I'd be worried, right? Like I'd be worried about that.
Yeah.
But that's really it, right? Because I look at the matchups and like the Knicks, they don't have enough firepower. They traded their one big that can pound us with like Cat, which Cat gives you problems. But if they want to try to outscore us, please, like try that. Like that be my guess, because that's exactly what the Cavs would prefer New York do with them. I wouldn't be worried about New York. Is there anybody I'm missing there? The Pacers.
Yeah, Pacers are in
Pacers
the
are annoying. They'll get to a 6-game series off the strength of being the most annoying team in the NBA, right?
They are annoying.
And the Pistons, they'll play hard, but like they'll give you a game and then make it like a really hard game 4 or something like that, right? Like they'll play you a really hard series.
We'll give that one to JB. JB can have one. He can have one.
Yeah, but you ain't gonna get redemption on us, brother. Okay, no. But yeah, other than that, and honestly, if I'm being honest with you, it's the rebounding. That's it. I was talking to Tony Pestle about this. I'm like, if the Cavs can rebound against the Celtics, if they don't have a spurt where they get out rebounded like 3-15,
Yeah.
I think they can easily beat the Celtics. It's that, like, you look at every Cavs game. Cavs like win the diff except for those like 10 minutes where they let Boston get like 14 threes off and they make like 9 of them. And that's how Boston goes up 20 and the Cavs have to come back from that. But if all of that is from rebounding, right? If you can just cut that in half, be a better rebounding team, especially on long rebounds. Like, we're terrible at long rebounds. I hope we do something about this before the playoffs. But, like, get better at these long rebounds so they don't go in these spurts. Then I really do think that kind of evens out the gap. And I think if we don't get out rebounded by Boston, I think we could beat Boston in 6. Like, that might be a bold take, but I really do think you could beat them, in 6 if you just don't get out rebounded. But yeah, other than that, those West teams are a little bit more problematic for me. Like Oklahoma City with Chet, not as problematic as I think the Nuggets would be in a 7-game series.
Nuggets
Like I'm praying we get like a bullshit Lakers run, right? Like if the Cavs make it, because that's the one team I'm like, oh, we got that, right? Like it's LeBron. You don't want to bet against LeBron, but I'm like,
right.
Nah, LeBron gonna give us a game for sure. Like, you're gonna still win in Cleveland, but we gonna be able to get that one back. Yeah, like, LeBron ain't got 7 of them in him anymore like he did. He barely had 7 of them in him back in 2016. Like the last time LeBron could give you like 7 games in a series like that, I mean, he 2018 maybe, but even at that one game, he was done. Like, it was like he couldn't do anything else after that. Well, he couldn't be 50-point Bron after that, right? Like
a superhuman that, yeah.
But he's going to give us one. Like, LeBron's going to give us a 50 bomb, and then Luka's going to get 30 on that night, and they're going to blow us out one game. But I feel very strongly that we'll be able to make most of our shots and take advantage of, like, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen will be able to just run wild in a way that that's going to make this team very hard to defend on the pick and roll.
Okay, Denver for sure by a mile are the two most concerning over there. I think Jokic is like just impossible to defend. Like, what do you even throw at him? What do you do? That would be a tough one for sure.
Yeah. I'm just praying the Nuggets don't get better like perimeter talent around him. Like, it's the only thing stopping them, right? Like, is that they don't have that real perimeter consistent threat because Jamal Murray just hasn't been Jamal in the way that he used to be. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out for the Cavs. I'm interested to see how the fan base reacts because we are unhinged here in Cleveland. So I imagine, we're going to see some peak unhingedness. I remember how unhinged it was. I went to that first playoff game LeBron had back in Cleveland. And during the national anthem, some guy yelled, "We're going to win the fucking finals, man!" Like in the middle of the national anthem. And I was like, yeah, I'm in Cleveland. I'm back home. Like, for sure. But it's going to be fun time. We know that Rocket Mortgage is going to be absolutely pandemonium, loud, crazy, and hopefully, they won 16 in a row, so they proven that they could win 16 in a short period of time. If people think about how long a 16-game winning streak is, that's pretty much winning every game you need to get an NBA Finals championship. So let's hope the Cavs can put 16 together in late April, early May, late May, April. All of May and June. It's a long strap in, y'all. Like, if you're losing your mind right now, I need y'all to look at me. Strap in, Cavs fans. It's gonna look. We not even close.
We gotta pace ourselves.
This is your time. Look, they understand what's going on right now. This is your time to like relax. Get shit in place. Like, take a breath because if you're at 10 right now, you ain't gonna make it. You're going to make it. It's going to be a long run here. It's basically its own season coming up here in about a month. But, I'm excited. I think I'm going to watch old Cavs runs with LeBron just to get ready, for that cardio that I'm going to have to get, my fan cardio, right? Like, we got to get our fan cardio up. We haven't had playoff minutes in a while, y'all.
No. Not at this level, too, where, like, in previous years being in the playoffs for the Cavs, we kind of knew we couldn't go the distance. When you feel like you have a real shot, it's like a different feeling that you experience as a fan when you're like, we're actually contending here. We're not just like fluke made it into the playoffs, that kind of vibe. You know what else is the other crazy thought I've been having recently is that the only person who could maybe experience both 2016 and a championship this year if we were to win, Tristan Thompson. And that's just a crazy thought that like that man is on this team right now and is that veteran presence that is telling the guys like, hey, this is what it's like and we got to get there.
It makes me feel so old to see bench coach Tristan Thompson because like I still remember like young and up and coming Tristan Thompson. Like, will he develop a bag, Tristan Thompson? He's ambidextrous, right? Like he could finish right and left, Tristan Thompson, and now like Then you had to live through his Kardashian era, and he's still in that, from what I understand, right? Like, and now he's old man Tristan to these guys, and it's like, wow, he's where Andy Verjao was, right? Like, or Zadrunas was, right?
To his credit, he seems like so invested too. Like, you watch him on the bench and you're like, this guy really cares about this team and really wants to see them be successful. Where I feel like it's hit or miss with vets sometimes. They're kind of like, I'm just here to play these last few years, get my bag and be on my way. But he I think genuinely cares about all these young guys and their success.
And look, man, with the Cavs, you need at least one guy on that staff or in that locker room that can always say this: when Bron was here, right? Because that is going to give everybody a understanding of the importance of where they are standing. Because when they shoot a jump, they can't never move from that building they are downtown. Because that is like, hey, man, this LeBron like had a lot of his great moments, right? It's part of like, unless we get the Lakers in the finals, I do want to move our home games to like Akron or something like that, or not Akron, like Columbus or something like that, because I'm like, hey man, I'm about to have LeBron in here. Remember when he came back against the Warriors? Like,
it's gonna like channel something in him.
Like no,
it's gonna feel like a home game for him. People are gonna be like, probably some of the crowd will be cheering as if they're like, oh wait, LeBron's not on our team. I forgot. Okay, my bad.
It's gonna be all good until he start looking like LeBron, like it start making those threes in that corner. It's like, oh no. We don't need to have LeBron play at Rocket Mortgage. We gonna play those games in the Dome or somewhere else. Play them in Florida. Play them in Detroit. Just get away from there.
In the year 2025, it's a possibility that the Cleveland Cavaliers could play against LeBron in the finals. Like, if you would have told me that 5 years ago, I would have been like, there's no way. Like, mostly from our end that like, yeah, we won like 18 games 5 years ago. And LeBron, who would have thought that he would still be able to play at the level he is at, age 40? It's so improbable, but here we are in 2025.
Yeah, you want to think about just the time LeBron's been in the league in like a time capsule of it. If the Cavs could get to the finals and beat LeBron, that would mean that in LeBron's career, the Cavs have basically gone from this franchise that had an identity crisis once he arrived. Up until he arrived, from like the 90s, Lenny Wilkins, they had an identity. And then from then on, they had an identity crisis up until he arrived. And then they became the LeBron team. And then they became the, oh, damn, LeBron left this team. And then they became the LeBron team again. And then the second run cemented it, right? They're the forever LeBron team, right? In the way the Bulls are the forever Jordan team. And now they are this different Cavs team that like people are like, oh man, I don't know what to do. Like, what do we do about the Cavs when LeBron's not there? And what if this Cavs team beat, like, LeBron lives long enough to see this franchise that like, I'm not 100% sure if he doesn't get drafted here, still exist in Cleveland. If he lives long enough in the NBA to see that team be able to eliminate him. Because his whole career has been like, hey, what's this team without him? And if they got to a point to where they're able to eliminate him, one, keep Dan Gilbert off Twitter. Two, it'd be fascinating to see how LeBron feels about that, because that would be very awkward for him, right? We're probably gonna get a couple quotes that feel a little sour though, like out of LeBron, I would say. Where he's like, yeah, I'm glad they can finally get there without me. Like, like
where there's like a subtle one line in it. Did you watch any of him on Pat McAfee?
I've heard a lot about it, but I have not been able to watch any of it.
So there was one funny moment where he basically alluded that he was like, I mean, there's no way that the Cavs actually had the first, pick by chance the year that I was coming into the league. Basically saying that the NBA rigged it so that he could go to the Cavs. And I was like, all right, that's a crazy thing for you to say, but okay.
I watched the Cavs back then. It didn't have to be rigged. It did not have to be rigged. I remember when I was a kid, like I used to play tennis at this place, and this dude had season tickets, and he would just leave them in the lobby and be like, whoever wants them can have them. The Cavs play tonight. And I was like, that's where the Cavs are. Like, yeah. they're that bad. Damn. Okay. And we
crazy.
never took the tickets. And we was broke. Like, we should have took the tickets. But that's how bad the Cavs were and where they were without LeBron. Up until that point, like obviously the 90s and the earlier stuff, that history is there, also car, all of it. But like there was an identity crisis after Michael Jordan hit the shot from then on with this team, right? Because we were just the team that Michael Jordan used to abuse, like for a very long time.
Right.
So yeah, it's fascinating to see the Cavs get to this point. Hopefully they can maintain it. Kenny Atkinson done a great job.